Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile. Today we're going to be looking at the newly updated Top Idol Riviere deck with the new Legendary Idol Riviere Stride unit. So, Riviere. For a while, Riviere was actually one of the better Bermuda Triangle decks, right up there with Prisms, and for a while even Duos. So, if people remember Legion format, Riviere was the premier Legion, the go-to Legion Bermuda deck. There was a Duo Legion, a Promo Legion, and then there was another one, that double R one that came out later. But those, or maybe they came out before, I don't remember anymore, but I know that the Riviere Legion was actually one of the best Bermuda Legions out there, and it's still, the lineup this time around still hasn't changed. So we're running 4 Top Idol Riviere. This is the original one from Banquet of Divas, the set that started it all for the clan. So she is the original ride chain, Coral being the second, which we showed in a previous video. And then she got a Revival Legion in the form of Rising Star Trois. So together, these two is a restanding Legion. Basically, it's a restand Legion for Counterblast 3, and then discard 3, and then stand all your Legion. And Riviere's old school effect is a Counterblast 2 and Persona Blast Top Idol Riviere to choose up to 3 your Bermuda Triangle rear guards, and those units get 5k. So the way the deck is designed, you do not want to run stand triggers in here at all. You want to run either 12 crit or 4 draw 8 crit, which is what I'm running. So I prefer the draws because it's a restander that drops 3 cards. So you want to replenish hand, and it's Bermuda, and it's not the type of Bermuda deck that's all about bouncing and getting draw power. So it's more of like powering up. It's more like a beatdown advantage deck, although in the early game, the Ride Chain is a very good draw engine, assuming it is being pulled off successfully that game. So that's the grade 3 lineup. It's still pretty good. They did get some nice, I feel like Riviere overall got the best new support out of all the old school decks. Pacific also got a couple of good stuff, but I feel like Riviere got the most, like the best out of it. Coral kind of being last place this time around. Next we've got Super Idol Riviere. She's a grade 2 ride chain effect. When she successfully rides on top of Mermaid Idol Riviere, or when you ride on top of her, when Top Idol rides on her, and you have the grade 1 in the soul with her, you draw a card for free. So it's a pretty good ride chain, actually. Even in 2017, it's still pretty good. Next we have 4 Limpid Chorus Malin. So this is a new double R support card for Riviere. Basically, when it attacks, if you got Super Riviere on the Vanguard Circle or in the soul, and I really like that they allow it to be in the soul. So in the case where you ride Trois and you can't Legion yet, it just checks for Super Idol, the grade 2 in the soul, to make her an 11k attacker when she attacks Vanguard, and on top of that, when she hits, she can unflip 1 as Soul Charge 1. So because of this card, you don't really need to run Kura in here anymore. So that's really nice, although it is chance based because they have to let it hit. But you know, in the early game, she teams up really well with Super Idol Riviere. So 4 of her. And then next, 3 of another new card, Applause Flower, Polish. So 3 of her. She is definitely, when you read her effect, you understand why you still want to run the Legion in here. Because she chooses a rear guard with Riviere, bounces it to the hand. Basically, it's when her attack hits a Vanguard, and her effect is either Vanguard or rear guard. You bounce a Riviere, you reveal 4 cards from the top of the deck, search for one with Riviere in it, that's why you want to run all the Riviere stuff. Put it in your hand, put the rest in the drop zone, and if you put a card in the hand, choose a card from your hand and put in the soul. So it's designed to help set up for Legion faster, add Riviere pieces to your hand, fix the Riviere ride chain, or all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty decent in a lot of ways. But you only want the effect to go off like maybe once or twice. It's not going to happen that often because it has to hit the opponent's Vanguard, so they control its consistency in that regard. So there is that to keep in mind. So that's why I'm running 3 of it. For grade 1s, I am running 4 Image Master Kukuri. The deck is very Counterblast heavy. The Legion's Counterblast 3, the Persona Blast is Counterblast 2, the Stride unit is Counterblast 1. There's just a lot of Counterblasts, so 4 Kukuri on Flip Perfect Guard. Not much else needed to explain there. Then 4 Mermaid Isle Riviere. Basically, when you ride the grade 2 on top of her and you have the starter in the soul, you draw a card. So it's pretty good effect. Next, 3 Hardy Dancer Courage. Now you could run 4 of this, but in the later part of the game, this card won't be as useful as it would in the early game. So if you want the deck to be very early game rush heavy, then you definitely want to run the 4 copies of this. And you could drop this next card down to 2. But I'm running 3 and 3 of each. So I'm running 3 Lunchmaker Ica. So basically what she does is when she's placed on R, if you have a grade 2 or greater Riviere, you can choose a card from your hand, put in the soul, and then if you do that, you draw a card. So she's kind of like a draw. She's kind of like a drop and draw. She doesn't really gain a +1, but she can potentially fix other card. It can fix Ride Chain and replenish. So that's why I'm running that. It's worth noting that both of these are new. All of these rear guards you see here, all 4 of them are all new support for Riviere. So Riviere did get quite a bit of good support this time around. And they're all pretty decent cards. Next, for the trigger lineup, like I said, 4 Fundy. So it's Margle and 8 Criticals. And I am showcasing the original, like the very old, the first heal and critical way back from Banquet of Divas when Riviere debuted. The nice thing about them, there is a stand and a draw as well. I'm not running them because Fundy is more useful. Otherwise I would run the draw. But basically when if you have to ever go for a final turn push and you have these 2 in your hand, you can call them down. They don't have to be in the same column. They just both have to be on the field. If you do that, then Shuplu gives Flows 3k power, because Flows is, if you have a Shuplu on your radar circle, she gains 3k power. So she becomes 7. So 7 and 4, that makes your 11k column to swing to the Vanguard. So they can actually poke. In very rare situations, this can come in pretty handy. So I want to showcase these old school cards because they're pretty good. Fits right in with Riviere. And then, of course, Bermuda Triangle Cadet Riviere. So that's the main deck. For the Stride lineup, I am running 4 copies of Legendary Isle Riviere. She's relatively affordable. It's very easy to get right now. So if you're building the deck, or if you're upgrading the deck, highly recommend you pick up 4 copies of this. It does add some extra life to the deck. You will stride this 2nd and 3rd, maybe 1st, sometimes, so that you can have the power to your field. But typically you want to do it 2nd or 3rd, at least GB2, because you want to get that draw and that plus 10k and plus the 1 critical to the Vanguard, to her. So, and of course for Olivia, because I've got them, so that just makes the deck even that much better. Makes it that much more potent. Olivia's still a really good card. Then 1 Elprina and 1 Amoris. You guys decide which one you want to run, if not both, or whatever else you want to run. 1 Somni, if you just can't do anything else, then you just go into this. And then that's basically it. The rest are all G Guardians. So the Nasha, the Leona, the Palfi, and the 2 10k ones, the Citron. So that's basically my Riviere Bermuda Triangle update deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Riviere, how she stacks up to Prism. I personally feel like Riviere is actually a very fun deck to play. Currently, it's one of my favorite ones. It's an old school deck, so that's really cool. And I feel like it can hold its own right up there with Prisms and Cho-Cho and Duos. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Riviere in terms of old school, how she stacks up to stuff like Pacifica, her rivals, Pacifica, Reindeer, Coral, all that stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.